Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to this quite rare thought for the day. Tom and I have sort of had an extended break from doing them. I think we made a bit of a start at the end of September, I think it was, when we did a couple of three, and then we've not done any since. So we've taken this, this extended break, planned or otherwise, and just a big thank you for Derek for carrying the baton in that time, and always doing his planned thoughts for the day. So thank you, Derek, for reminding us of our need to get started and get planning for our thoughts for the day. Thank you. Well, we're not far from Christmas Day now, are we? So how are your plans going? Have you got all your presents that you're going to give, or are you still deciding, or are you a last minute shopper? Are you someone who sits in front of the computer and orders things, which sadly I'm guilty of? Or do you go out into the towns and around Wolverhampton, Wednesfield and so on, Merry Hill, Birmingham, to do your Christmas shopping? And most of us, I suppose, spend quite a lot of time either planning for Christmas or at least thinking that we should start planning for Christmas. And then, if you're anything like me, panicking when we realise that we haven't planned anything, because I come more in that last category. And the consumer-dominated world encourages us to start thinking about Christmas and planning for Christmas from the sort of beginning of October onwards. Christmas shop songs are started to be played in the shops in November, and it's almost as if they don't want us to forget Christmas. But in the pressure and the clamour of the consumer world, maybe we do forget it, or what Christmas is really about. It's a version of Christmas, isn't it? It's just a version of Christmas, but it doesn't ring true to the truth of Christmas. Because how much time do we spend preparing our heart for the one whose birthday it is we celebrate? Are we a people who've been made ready and prepared for the Lord? And I've been reading chapter 2 of the Gospel of Luke, and it made me reflect on a number of things as we lead up to Christmas. I was thinking about Jesus' birth in Bethlehem, where there was no room for his mother to give birth, and she had to give birth in a stable, and the child was placed in a manger. I thought about whether there's room for Jesus in Ashmore Park, in Wednesfield, in Wolverhampton, in our homes, in our hearts. And there's certainly a need for him. But do we make room for him in our lives? Is there a part of your life? Is there a part of my life where we put up the no vacancy sign? A place in our lives where we don't want Jesus to enter. Thank you very much. Sometimes that could be fear of change. It could be fear of challenge. It could be for shame. Or it could be that we don't want him in our lives because we're doing very well, thank you, without him. Each one of us, I venture, could relate to one or more of those no vacancy signs. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is the times I've heard people say, well, we're just ordinary people. I hear that a lot when I go and visit people, when I'm preparing to officiate at a funeral. We're just ordinary people. We believe, but we don't know the Bible. I'll leave it to you. You choose readings and so on and so forth. And it's almost as if people don't expect anything special or wondrous in their lives. We're just ordinary. And then I think about the shepherds in the field. Ordinary people. In fact, the lowest of the low in that society. And they were the first to know of Jesus' birth. They saw the glory of God in their regular, everyday routine. Nothing special in the eyes of the world, but so precious to God that they were the first to know. And I thought, for our expectations of God, do we expect to see the glory of God? Or are we unable to see beyond the horizons of our own self-proclaimed ordinariness, nothing special? So what would God think of us? And yet the glory of God is all around us. God has revealed himself to the world, to us, the ordinary people, the shepherds in the field. And the shepherds responded. Although we don't know anything that happened to them after this event, I doubt that their lives were ever the same. And they immediately praised God for what they'd heard and what they'd seen. It made me think how we need to see what God has revealed to us in our own lives. How he can and has broken into our day-to-day lives. And how we need to respond as those shepherds did all that time ago. And sometimes our human response, like the shepherds, is to be fearful of the glory of God breaking into our lives. The revelation of glory requires a response. We can either hide away from it. We can carry on living in the same way, the same old way we've always lived. Or we can let it transform our everyday lives into lives that reveal his glory both within our heart and to others. So if you're fearful of letting God into your life, take down those no vacancy signs. Don't be fearful, and welcome the Christ child in this Christmas. Well, I hope to see you at church or to speak to you on here very soon. And look after yourselves, and God bless.